Today, I want to talk to you about the way our health changes as we grow older and why we need to change our lifestyle with it. Keep listening to learn more. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Growth Philosophy Podcast, a bite-sized weekly podcast focused on empowering you to think better and upgrade your life. So let's talk about how and why we need to change and evolve what we do, especially when it comes to our health, with time. In my younger days, I was well known among my friends for having a stomach of steel. I could out-eat everyone I knew, and I was fearless about eating food on the streets when I traveled. In my circle, I was famous for my ability for eating spicy food, and the same goes for rich food. I could eat anything. Spices didn't bother me. Chilies did not faze me. Even the strange looks of food items was not an issue. If anything, they only made me want to try them even more. I traveled through several continents and ate more or less every type of street food and local food you can think of. From jellied eels to fermented shark to intestines and chicken heads, I've had it all. I could eat whatever I wanted and not really have to worry about putting on weight or any other issues related to health. I rarely got sick or had stomach problems. I felt invincible. Then I hit my 30s. It was like overnight I started putting on weight, even when I was eating less than I did before. It was very frustrating. But that was only one of the changes I experienced. The other really big one was my ability to eat whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. That ability to eat whatever I wanted has started to take a bit of a back seat now since I've become more sensitive to things like oil and dairy products. My digestive system has become more sensitive and plays up if I don't take care of what I eat. What I can and cannot do, especially when it comes to my health, keeps changing as I grow older. With age, it changes. Now, maybe you're in your early 20s or 30s and you're thinking that you don't need to worry about these things. And you are right to a certain degree. You can do a lot when you're young without experiencing much of the downsides. I've done that myself, so I know where you're coming from. In my 20s, I used to skip sleep and food all the time. Saying that my eating and sleeping patterns were irregular would be an understatement, massive understatement. Going nights without any sleep was common for me. And I even went without any sleep for 4 days straight once. What happened after that is a story for another day. But the point is that when you are younger, you can get away with a lot. A lot. And you do a lot of things because you don't think there will be any consequences. However, that is not the case. Not at all. And that is the point I want to communicate to you today. The point I want to stress, the point I really want to stress, the thing I really want you to understand is that there are consequences for your actions. What you do now might not affect you right now, but it absolutely will affect you even if it is several years down the line. In that sense, our bodies are expert accountants and they keep a score. Our bodies can even be a bit vindictive. It holds a grudge and then makes you pay for any mistreatment down the line. There is always a consequence. There are always consequences. Think about cancer, for example, or heart disease, or any of the other chronic health problems. Who do you think typically suffers from those health conditions? The people who take good care of their health, or those who don't? The answer should be pretty obvious. Yes, you can point out the person who smoked till 100 and still lived healthy, but that person is an anomaly. People like that are exceptions. They're an exception to the rule. We have all come across exceptions like that. People who don't really take much care of their health, but still live a long life. The thing is, you can't count on exceptions like that because if that was how it worked in general, then there would be no point in trying to be healthy. If you didn't need to look after your health and could do whatever you wanted without any consequence, the fields of medicine, and the whole medical profession would not exist. But that is just not how things work in reality. We can't ignore our health and do whatever we want without there being a price to pay. There is always a price to pay. You might be able to get away with lots when you're young, but as you grow older, the consequences become more and more visible. Unfortunately though, that is not where it stops, because the consequences don't just become visible, they also become more painful. And that is probably my least favorite part, the painful part. I now wish I could go back in time and tell my younger self to be smarter and take better care of myself and my health, but that's not really possible. That said, because of that experience, I decided to do the next best thing, which for me is to start taking better care of myself. It also involves spreading the word and passing on my learnings and experiences to you, so that you can benefit from my lessons and experiences, and hopefully that in turn will help make your later years less challenging than mine. All that said, if you are in your 40s already and have started to pay the price for what you ate and did or did not do in your younger days, all is not lost. You can still take care and improve your health. There is always time for that. Our bodies might hold a grudge, but they can also be very forgiving, with the right care, of course. In my mid-30s, I was in the best shape of my life, with a six-pack and everything, not because I just chilled out and did nothing, and just carried on doing what I did in my younger days, but because I started taking better care of my health. I put in the work and made a conscious effort to improve my health. This reminds me of a famous Chinese proverb which says the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. And the second best time is now. You can do it too. You can improve your health no matter what your age. It is never too late, but it is much better to start early on. The best time to start being right now. As you grow older, you need to make adjustments and you need to look after your health better. I was the master of eating spicy food in my younger days, but I've had to cut down on that. The same goes for rich food. It goes without saying that makes me sad, but ultimately for me, being in good health is a lot more important than indulging in food that can make my life challenging for me. And I'm sure you will agree with that. Obviously, I won't completely give them up. I still love food. I don't think I can ever do that. But I am a lot more conscious now about what I do and do not eat, and only indulge in the really spicy and rich food occasionally. Maybe on cheat days, if that. And I try to sleep more. Sleep is important. So changes and improvements like that are important to make, especially after your 30s. Here's the bottom line. It's important to understand, extremely important to understand, that what you can and cannot do where your health is concerned changes over time. Our digestive system is a prime example of this, because as you get older, your tolerance for what you can and cannot eat changes. It can be a frustrating experience, especially if you're a foodie like me, but it is a necessary one to be aware of. Because only when you are aware of these potential repercussions and consequences can you take the steps to prevent, or at the very least limit, any negative consequences later on in life. Put in the work now to look after your health, to have a better quality of life. A better quality of life not just in the future but now too, because your positive actions will start paying you back pretty much right away. Health is a great investment in that sense, the best one in fact, and you can reap the rewards in the present, right now, and not just the future. Remember, health is the most important asset you have in your life. Health is the true wealth, because when you don't have health, your life becomes a living hell. Just look at anyone who is sick, or even think back to the last time you were sick to realize the importance of good health. Don't wait until you get sick to be reminded of this. Take care of your health now, so that you can have a better now and a better future. I sincerely hope that you found this talk useful. and that you took at least one thing away from this talk that can help you improve your life. If you have any questions or suggestions, or even ideas for future topics, feel free to send them to me. The links are in the description. I look forward to having you all listen in again next week. Same place, same time. Until then, remember to take care of yourself. Alright everyone, that's it for today. Have a great week.